Hello, guys, and welcome back to All for United. What a poor weekend for Manchester United fans that was. But we don't need to talk about that. It's a new week. We're back on Wednesday night, Champions League, Man United under the lights at Old Trafford. Got a brilliant panel lined up, and they're going to tell you, because we've got a super positive panel tonight, they're going to tell us how we're going to beat Villarreal. We're not going to have any of this, how we're going to nick a draw or any of that. We're going to beat Villarreal, and these guys are going to tell you how to do it just after this.
Click subscribe to get daily Manchester United content from passionate Reds, only on All for United.
There we go. I didn't double click it this time. Look at that. See, there we all are. What a brilliant panel we got tonight. Like I said, no negativity. There's been a lot of negativity around United recently. Understandably so. You know, we've lost 3 out of the last 4, but we are back under the lights at Old Trafford on Wednesday night. And like I said, these guys are going to tell us how we're going to do it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Get your comments in as well. We've got a lot of topics to cover tonight. We're going to have to cover the previous meeting with Villarreal, unfortunately, during the show at some point. Right, might as well dive straight into it. Alexi, I'll come to you first. I'll come to each of you on this point. Obviously, we've lost 3 out of the last 4. Is there anything that we can take from that? Whether that's 1 thing, 2 things, whatever, that we can take into Wednesday night to rectify that and make sure we get back to winning ways?
Oh gosh. Well, I think the Aston Villa's goal the other night came from Cavani not winning his header, I guess. So that's kind of something that can be rectified immediately. I just think a bit more kind of cohesion in like the way we play going forward. I think the other day it was a bit kind of all over the place towards the end. Kind of Ronaldo and Cavani occupying the same spaces. But I don't think it'll be as frantic on Wednesday, because I think on Saturday it got very frantic very quickly. There was a bit of panic set in, I think, because obviously Villa started well and they got their goal, obviously eventually. But before that, Shaw and Maguire were injured and it felt a bit panicky. But I think it'll be a lot calmer. And I think the personnel will make a difference, because I think we'll probably see maybe Jadon Sancho come into this. It wouldn't even surprise me if Donny van de Beek came in, because he's pretty good in the Champions League. I mean, the problem we have is Villarreal are 0-0 merchants. I mean, they've won 1 out of their last 15 La Liga games. 2 of their last 4 just games in general have been 0-0s. So that's obviously a bit of a problem. But yeah, I just think the other day we had a lot of shots and we had a penalty and we did have chances. In another world, we really could have won that game. Like Greenwood had a couple of chances, Varane had a chance, but it's about being more clinical. Obviously, it's not on the same level as Brighton are, because, you know, but I saw the stat about Brighton and they'd had 45 shots against Palace last year, and Palace had 4 shots, and Palace scored 3 goals across the games and Brighton scored 2. So it shows how important being clinical is. But I think, honestly, you know, we need to be more kind of cohesive as a team. But I think if we're just more clinical and Ronaldo gets 1 chance, that's all Ronaldo needs. Give the ball to Ronaldo once, create him 1 chance. We'll score goals. It's that simple when you have the greatest footballer that's ever existed in your team.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Brown Knight, what have you missed? We've won the treble, mate. Did you not see it back in 1999? We won the treble. That's what you missed. Bainesy, I'll come to you then. Obviously, like I said, I mentioned the last 3 out of 4 kind of losses in the last kind of 4 games. One of them, obviously, red card changed the game. Second string team against West Ham and obviously Villa. Is there anything that we can look at in any of those games that we can take into Wednesday?
No, not really. I'd rather not, because I mean we've lost all 3 of them, so I'd rather not take anything from those games, because clearly it isn't working. Look, I don't want to be too negative about this, and I'm always a positive person. I've always tried to be positive when United lose. It's just hard to be positive right now, because it's in one of those games where United need to win. Throughout the last 2 years, I think if you look at this, and in the last 2 years, when Ollie's job is in question, we've had a response. We've always had the players stepping up, and you know, we had this last year at Everton when we went 1-0 down and we won that game 3-1. We had so many games last year where we were coming off the back of really poor performances and poor losses that we saw the team really grind out for a result, and they're playing for the manager. I love Ollie. I loved him as a player. I still do love him as the manager, and I still believe that if he manages to get things right, it's only going to be obviously a positive for everyone that supports United. He hasn't lost a dressing room, and I do feel like that the players and coaching staff are under extreme pressure right now. And I think that will play in a positive way, because the players don't want to lose. You've got elite players there that have won it all in Varane, in Ronaldo, even Sancho's been successful. And I just feel like that if you're going to take anything away from those games, is we have to stop the sort of the individual mistakes that we're making. Like, look, okay, the Villa one was a lapse of concentration. We've considered West Ham. We had a whole new 11, and they've never really played together. And the young boys one, of course, like, it's the red card. And I think we can all agree here, and mainly, hopefully, the comments will as well, that without that red card, I think we comfortably win that 2-3-0. So I just think that whatever we do for Wednesday, go out there and just go get a result. That's it. It doesn't matter how you play. It doesn't matter if you play poorly. If you win the game 1-0, I think the way to step forward, just get a result. Just win the game. I don't think a draw or obviously not a loss is not good enough.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And Fred Woodward, you are banned from every show moving forward after that comment. How dare you come in with that on this show previewing Villarreal? I cannot believe it.
I hate
but
it. We never beat
Villarreal
either. We never beat Villarreal.
Really so Henry, I'll come to you with the same question. Like I just said to Bainesy there, obviously Young Boys was a bit of a freak because of the red card, obviously changed the game. West Ham was a second string. Is there anything at all? I'm struggling. I'm asking the question. I'm struggling to think of something that we can take into Wednesday. Is there anything that you can think of?
Well, I think Solskjaer's got to take a risk now. I think the time is up for safety. I think the time is up for going into games. I mean, the Villa game was frustrating, and it wasn't frustrating because we conceded the goal. It was frustrating because we allowed us to get into that situation later in the game where we hadn't scored and we were pushing hard to do so, and you get caught. So I get that can happen, but it shouldn't be happening on a regular basis, and it shouldn't be happening 2 or 3 games in a row. Just, again, a lapse in concentration. And everyone says, and I get it, it's a lapse in concentration. It can happen. But why isn't it happening to the other top teams then? Why isn't it happening to them? Why is it only happening to us at the moment? Chelsea were a little bit poor, but that was, again, a one-off game. So at the start of the season, they've been fantastic. So what he's got to do now is he's got to grow a pair of bollocks, and he's got to start a midfield that Villarreal are not going to come out in that game and go gung-ho and attack us. They're not. They just don't do it. They've scored, I think they've scored like 5 or 6 goals this season, and they've had 1 win. The rest have been draws this season, draws or defeats. So we can't be in a situation where we're thinking, oh, this is terrifying. We've got to make sure that we have Fred and McTominay in midfield. No. We've got to have an attacking midfield with 1 box-to-box and 1 holding. And he's got to risk it, because if he doesn't risk it and we lose that game, questions are already being asked. And I saw Gary Neville yesterday, who said, what was it? That saying this team isn't playing like a team. It's not. There's not a cohesive unit there. So there needs to be some sort of change in the way that we play, and there's got to be more tempo, more pace. Not just sitting on the edge of the box and knocking it around. That's not good enough. So, I'm expecting more. I'm not thinking, oh, yeah, this could happen. I'm expecting more because there needs to be a response, because the last few games have just not been good enough. How can it get any worse? It can't really, can it? So the response just needs to be win the game, because if you don't win that, even if you can't draw your Champions League home games, you've got to win them. You win your Champions League home games and draw the away games, that's fine. Then you're through. But it's a crucial game. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I always agree with that. I think I've always looked at the Champions League and gone, win your home games, don't lose away. That's always how I viewed it. And like you said, that you should get through the group. Stu, it's a perfect time to come to you then, because obviously I know you're an advocate on players taking responsibility. There's a comment here I want to try and bring up from Ugly Bear about Bruno Fernandes. I personally don't think he's been that bad in the 3 games that we have lost. There's a comment, where is it? I'm just trying to find it, about us conceding late, kind of late clangers, as John's put there. Thanks for joining us as ever, John, as well. So, Stu, do the players need to kind of take more responsibility out of the 3 games that we've lost in the last 4? What do they need to do to try and rectify it? Because we'll get onto the team a bit later on and what kind of selection he's going to pick, but we assume it's going to be a strong 11 because of what happened against Young Boys. Is there anything they can do to try and rectify it themselves?
Yeah, well, first of all, never look back in football. Always look forward, never look back, because those games are gone and you can't do anything about those games now. Every football team, every manager, the manager's the one that the focus falls on. Nobody ever calls out the players. And unfortunately, when you cross that white line, it's the players' responsibility to apply and perform everything that's been discussed during the week. This is what grinds my gears about coaching and lack of coaching. Everybody comes on. It's a very easy thing to say. It's a lack of coaching, it's a lack of this, it's a lack of that. It's absolute bollocks. If you don't apply what you've been told on the training pitch, like none of us know, it's a complete waste of time. And what's happening at the minute is players are potentially playing for themselves and not playing as a team. And I think Gary Neville's right, and I've said it before, we don't look that cohesive with what we should do. And the only way that we're going to kind of play our way back into any kind of form is for the players to pull their finger out and take a risk themselves. It hasn't always got to come from the coaches. Why? Again, it's an area that winds me up that Ollie should be out shouting at players. These players are professional footballers, played football all their lives. They play football every day. They're in a football environment every day. They talk it, they live it, they breathe it every day. What can you fucking teach them? Somebody tell me. What can you fucking teach them? You can't. They know the basics. Training and coaching is about little types of things. Slight improvements here, slight improvements there. It's got fuck all to do with the 2-yard pass. It's got fuck all to do with where you stand in the fucking 18-yard line. It's got fuck all to do with how many shots you take outside the area. It's got fuck all to do with where you hit the post. It's got bollocks to do with that. That is player responsibility. And whether people agree with me or not, play football. Just go out there and play football. Kick around with your mates. Because if the ball comes to you and you let it under your foot or whatever, it's your own fault. Don't be looking at Ollie on the sideline having a go at him. So the only thing that you can improve is you improve yourself. That's where you start as a footballer. You start and you improve yourself first. You are your own centre of that universe when you take that pitch. That's what you do. And then you look around and you encourage and you develop other players. Players like Ronaldo, you know, they don't require coaching. Players like Ronaldo, they thrive on being the very, very best there is. And the only way they can be the very best that they are is making themselves the very best. So in answer to your question, in a very long-winded way, those players have got to take responsibility for themselves and they've got to play their way back into form and they've got to want to go and win. That's the key in any football match. So.
I love your passionate speeches, Stuart. Absolutely. Sorry, so someone needs to clip that up. Ahmed, I'm going to
one on me about it at the minute.
That's right. No, that's all right.
Coaches who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
You're going to love this comment that I'm going to bring up to ask Ahmed. Then I might let you come back on it afterwards, but I'm going to come to you with this comment about. He's saying about this is Ollie's style of play and what he's trying to implement. So I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment, but I think what you're trying to get at is the players are clearly implemented and that's what's not working. He's saying now, obviously, about the McTominay-Fred partnership in the middle and no cohesion. Obviously, I famously said about Pogba not fitting a balanced team yesterday, which got a lot of reaction online. But I stand by that about there being no cohesion with Pogba's on the left or in a midfield too. So is that something that you think, I guess, especially against a well-organised, which they're going to be, Villarreal side on Wednesday, is balance and cohesion going to be more important than just picking the star players?
Oh dear. Let me not lie to you, Connor. I'm sitting here right now watching the final back over again as a way of spurring myself for Wednesday night, as a fueled hatred for Una Emery Villarreal, and the
Why
fact
would you
that I
do
simply
that?
can't stand the color yellow right now. So
I can't
don't
believe
ask me
you're doing
how. I'm just
I
doing
can't
it.
believe you're watching that final again.
It's just to spur me to the point where I'm so not actually angry with the world, but just to the point where I'm ready to want to see them get absolutely destroyed. To answer that question though, I think is basically copy and paste what I said in the weekend review show earlier today, where I spoke to the likes of Ben and Mark and Neil about how we struggled against Villa to break down the low block. We're going to deal with exactly the same problem on Wednesday night anyway, and we were dealing with that problem in the final. So really, I think this match, not being pessimistic at all or anything, but I think this is going to be a copy and paste style match to that very same game. Because on Saturday, Villarreal drew with Real Madrid 0-0. I watched the whole 90 minutes and I did not once think that Villarreal were under any severe threat, other than two moments where Real Madrid may have got shots off on target that really didn't threaten the goalkeeper. They never actually were properly threatened. If we're going to beat them on Wednesday night and exact revenge for Gdansk, for me, it's very simple. Be brave in the final third. The personnel, as Stu alluded to, the personnel that go out there on Wednesday simply have to use the energy or the frustration of losing such a huge final, regardless of the reputation of the Europa League, that alone should be a motivator to get us over the line. So whenever you approach the final third, just remember we couldn't do it then. We're playing on our patch now. Why not? Why can't we not beat them on our own ground? They're going to try to do the same thing they did against us in the final. And I'm quite positive, no matter who plays, whether it's Ronaldo, whether it's Sancho, Fernandes, or Greenwood, my key worry is that we'll have the same problem on Saturday again. I just want them to be brave. I want them to be clinical. And I want them to not treat Villarreal like they're an Aston Villa, like they're Sheffield United last season, or like they are, for example, Burnley half the time when we play against them. Because if we do, we're going to have a long, long night for those in attendance and those away from home. I also want Ollie to absolutely stress this to the players on Wednesday night, that we have been poor for 3 straight games now, and that cannot run. It has to change at some point. So he needs, I hope in this time between Sunday and tomorrow night, he has as much time as possible drilling into these players that this is not only our season depends on this, because last season we went out of the Champions League due to poor home form. I'd realistically like us to get those home wins out of the way, as Henry alluded to, secure the points we need, and then I hope when young boys come in December, we rest everybody and then not have to worry about needing to squeeze 1 point over the line just to top the group. We should win this group easily. The young boys game happened. It was a bad night for United after we went in front, and realistically, the more we remember it, the harder it's going to feel. But at the end of the day, no group is an easy group, and while it looks like we should win this group easily, I really worry simply because Emery has United's number. And historically, United and Villarreal have played 7 times in Europe and United have not beaten them. So, us as Spanish teams don't get along either. What can I say?
Just a quick one, Ahmed. Or actually anyone here in the comments on the panel now, right? We've always, the last 3 games, we've questioned the performance and we've questioned the lack of goals. Let's say, let's just take this as a theory. So against West Ham, how many times did we have a shot on goal? It was like 27 shots, wasn't it? Right.
Oh, hang on.
Let's say, for example, we had exactly the same performance at West Ham, but we won 2-0. Let's just say 2 of those shots goes in, or theoretically, let's say 2-0. But we had the exact same performance. The game went exactly how it was, but 2 of those 27 shots went in. Then we got who did we play after that? Was it Young Boys? No, it was Young
Before
Boys
that
before, wasn't
was
it? It was Young Boys, wasn't it? We lost 1-0.
yeah.
All right. So say for
2-1,
example, yeah. So say for example, we didn't go down to 10 men. We win the game 1-0 because we were 1-0 up, and then we got the red card. We win the game 1-0. We go to West Ham. We play exactly the same. 27 shots. We score 2 of them. Then we go to Villa, and we had something like 30 shots, didn't we? And Greenwood had some clear-cut chances. He scores 2 goals. We win the game 2-1. Would we still be questioning the performances, or were those theoretical wins be papering over the cracks? Would we even be talking about Ollie's job right now?
Can I just jump in quickly before
yeah.
I'm just going to make a very quick point on what you've just said. Actually, I think a lot of fans under Mourinho and Van Gaal, and this is kind of my issue with it, were very happy to say, "I'm happy if we play attacking football and we lose, as long as we play attacking." Well, right now, look, the stats don't lie. We are having a lot of the ball, and we are pushing on the front foot and trying to create chances and having shots. Albeit, I know a lot of them are from outside the area. I'm not saying that's right all the time, and we are rushing some shots, but we are playing better football. So the fans that are saying, "I'd rather us lose and play attacking," well, we're doing that now. We're doing that more than what we were doing under Mourinho and Van Gaal. So that's just my first point on it. And I agree. West Ham away is probably our best performance of the season. I'm probably unlucky not to be more ahead in that game. So ultimately, performances will generate results eventually. It's about the longer process. You can paper over the cracks if you're just getting, like, let's say, a lucky penalty in the last minute or something like that. We're not doing that anymore. The performances are better. We're just not picking up the points, in my opinion. I'll let someone else go on that. I don't know. Henry, do you want to go first next, Stu?
Yeah, sure. I think the problem with looking at hypotheticals is they didn't happen. I think that's not a criticism. I think the problem with looking at that is it hasn't happened. And with 3 years in now, to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure, 3 years in, can someone here tell me what our definitive style of play is at the moment? Anyone? Can you tell me how we're going to play week in, week out?
Well, I'll counter that. What was our definitive style of play in 1970 then? 1980, 1990. Nobody fucking knows. This is what I'm not going to go at you, Henry.
Yeah.
You were born when you were born, pal. And I get all of that. It's fine. Same with everybody. But fucking hell, people are going about our style of play. Look back when the fucking club was started. The club wasn't born in 92, 93 when most of the fucking fans, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it how it is now, started watching Manchester United because they were the team that was winning. So those were the kids that had the fucking shirts. Back when I was growing up, it was Liverpool and Wolves. I was the only Man United fan in my school, my entire fucking school. Manchester United wasn't born in 92, 93. Okay, and people have got to forget that. So the style of play that we got now, everybody's looking at Fergie's style of play, and nobody can tell me what Fergie's style of play is anyway. There's a basic 4-4-2. That's all he ever did.
I'm looking at the rival teams around us. I'm looking at
concentrate on ourselves, Henry. Concentrate on ourselves.
But what I'm looking at is we want to compare ourselves with the top sides, right? We want to be around the top sides. We want to be competing with Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, whoever's up there. We want to be competing with all of those sides. I can tell you how City are going to play week in, week out because they're going to keep the ball. They're going to wait, and they're going to break you down because they are so difficult. They play quick triangles and they play, again, really quick possession football. Chelsea will always play a 5 at the back with 2 in midfield. They'll basically just flood you on through wing backs. They'll have 3 at the back, and they'll just again.
But they didn't do that, though, did they?
No. I'm just saying week in, week out, and then you've got with Liverpool very quick on the break, but can now break down teams with Jurgen Klopp, and have got a very solid defense. And again, I know little results haven't gone their way, and results haven't gone our way. But the problem we've got is week in, week out, we don't know what we're going to get. Liverpool fans will go into a game and they'll think, I know what we're going to get today. Getting a result, different story. Completely fair enough. Some results don't come. But they know what they're going to get from their team. And do we know we're going to get a cohesive unit from United? We'll get moments in a game. We always get moments in a game. We always score from moments. but I don't see consistent team performances, which is what we look for, and patterns of play and styles of play, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's stamp on this team. He probably has a way that he wants this team to play, but I just don't see it at all.
But Henry, you never had that under Fergie all the time. You don't. Football's not like that. Football doesn't operate like that. Somebody said in the comments, fair enough, football's changed. It hasn't fucking changed. It's 90 minutes a game, 11v11. Who scores the most wins. The end. The pitch dimensions are the same. The goal size are the same. 4 corner flags. Nothing's changed in terms of the game itself. All that's happened is better technology, better pitches, better science, better analytics.
More tactical than it used to be. More tactical than it used to be.
How do you, no, of course it isn't. Football's, Henry, it isn't. If you were telling me, if anyone's going to tell me that Charlton, Dennis Law, George Best, they couldn't play or be better than today's players.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
how can it be more tactical? It isn't more tactical. How can it be more tactical when you've got 11v11? It's impossible.
Attention to detail. Sorry.
Yeah, but
Stu, I'm going to have to jump in because I don't want this to turn into a full...
I've got to touch on that as well. Attention to detail. You're looking at times where times are. You're looking at analytics. You can get attention to detail through computer analytics. You didn't have that back then, but the basics of football remain the same. And when you look at our history, not just Fergie, when you look at our history, it will tell you there's always different styles of play. But what is that style of play? And so I'm sick of people saying it's the Man United way because you're pigeonholing Sir Alex Ferguson. Just look back at our history. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. And I think, Henry, I understand the point you're making. Like I said, I do tend to agree with some of it. And I think that a lot of the fan base at the moment, I'm sick of hearing it, whether you've got to be in or out, you've got to be Martial or Rashford, you've got to be one or the other. For me, you should just support the team and criticise where you see. And I think, Henry, that's the kind of points that you're going with there.
Sorry, but here's a typical comment from Man United analytics. Football through tactics and sports science has moved on through decades. Big fucking deal, mate. Big deal. Jesus, I've evolved through decades. In 1977, mate, I was 7 years old. I've evolved through decades. That's just life, man.
Stu was a Connor, can I make a quick point?
Go on, take it away, Alexi. Go on.
So I see, watching what you two were saying, I kind of see both sides of it. I see this argument of maybe we should have some kind of better form, style of play or identity. But I see Stu's point, because people say the phrase style of play like that would fix everything. But Sean Dyche's Burnley is a style of play.
I was just about to mention Burnley.
Sam Allardyce is a style of play, but we don't want that. But just the phrase alone can be kind of an empty phrase, because just saying we want a style of play. Louis van Gaal was a style of play and we didn't like that. However, I do get Henry's point in the sense maybe we do need a bit more of identity, but I was thinking the exact same thing earlier about Ferguson.
Well, get him off. Get this Man United down and let this prick out. Get him gone. He's an idiot.
All right.
When you look at Ferguson, you kind of think like, it was kind of fast attacking football. Was attacking the style of play, and if it's the case that attacking football is a style of play, then we do have a style of play. That's why it's really paradoxical. But I think people sometimes do just say style of play as if that will fix it all. When we had to play under Louis van Gaal, and we hated it, didn't we?
Yeah, I think that was the point I was making as well. Henry, I'll let you quickly come back, and I am going to move this on because we're 30 minutes in. I want to take it back to Wednesday. So
it's just identity. It's just identity. That's all. I'm not being pedantic. I'm just saying it's just identity of sides. Of go down a list of the Premier League teams, and I get if you win, it's effective. I completely understand. Winning is the most important thing. That's absolutely fine. But the problem is we're patchy, a little bit patchy with this team. And again, after 3 years, we're doing the same, making the same errors we were 3 years ago, and we've got a lot better players now. And the excuses shouldn't be there for not winning the league title. Again, Chelsea didn't get a centre-back. City didn't get a striker. Liverpool have next to no depth in midfield. They're relying on Naby Keita, who's got basically, half a leg, if that.
Glasses his ankles.
Yeah, they're reliant on positions that they're struggling with. So every team has deficiencies. We've got a deficiency in midfield. absolutely fine. But every team has them, and I think give him another year because we've got he's stabilised the club. I'm just putting the point across that maybe he's done the right thing. Solskjaer's done a fantastic job. Maybe this is as far as he can go. That's all. I'm not here to put doubt. I'm not here to be against the team. I'll always support United and want the manager to do well. And he's got the dressing room. I completely agree with you, Connor. But again, has he taken this team as far as he can take it personally?
Yeah, I see that.
We can only really know that at the end of the season, though.
Yeah, I think that's the point, isn't it? And if this isn't an advert, Ben or Karthik, if you're watching that, these guys want a show, as it was discussed in the social chat the other day, about Ollie and coaching and all that kind of thing, then I don't know what is going to be an advert for it. I want to take it back to Wednesday because that is what this is all about. Villarreal preview. There's a lot of you watching as well. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. We've only kept one clean sheet this season. Now, people can say, obviously, Maguire and Shaw have maybe some fatigue from the Euros. I think there's probably something in that. We're going to have a completely different back four come Wednesday. Obviously, we're doing this before Ollie's press conference. We don't know what the injuries are like to Maguire and Shaw. We know Wan-Bissaka is going to be out. Alexi, I'll come to you first then. Obviously, it's going to be a completely different back four, which really you want to try and keep the same. I'm going to say back five, actually. You want to try and keep your goalkeeper and the back four the same. When we're coming up against a team like Villarreal that might only get one chance, this team on Wednesday are going to have to keep a clean sheet, I feel. United, I'm talking about. We're going to have to keep a clean sheet because I don't think we're going to be able to break them down. I agree with what Anna was saying earlier. It's going to be very similar, in my opinion, to the final, where we're going to have a lot of the ball. So are you worried about that on Wednesday, the kind of back four that we are going to put out? And do you think it is going to be the back four that everyone's expecting? Dalot, Varane, Lindelof and Tellers? Or do you see that there's a surprise in there somewhere?
Yeah, I think it'll be that. I mean, one thing I will say is I think it was West Ham on Wednesday because we lost both. They blow into one. But I was watching Dalot quite a lot and I was actually quite impressed by him. I've doubted him quite a lot, to be honest. But I was watching the runs he was making forward against West Ham and I was actually pleasantly surprised by him. Tellez, on the other hand, not so much, if I'm honest. The problem we have with having a completely different back four is in our usual back four, you have Wan-Bissaka, who's expert defensively, and Shaw, who bombs forward, whereas Tellez and Dalot are both kind of instinctively forward-thinking fullbacks, so that might leave spaces in. But what it might mean is we can sustain attacks easier, potentially. Dalot making overlapping runs, Tellez getting crosses into the boxes. But to be honest, am I worried about the defence? Yes, but it's a very simplistic point. But regardless of the defence, I think we have a good enough team to beat Villarreal. And if we'd won our first game, you could kind of go into this one and go, oh, maybe a draw isn't the end of the world. It's not what we want, but it's not the end of the world because we had players out. We won our first game, 4 points out of 2 games. It's not too bad. But the problem is, because we lost that first game, even though we're going into a game without 3 defenders, there's still kind of no room for error, and we have to win it. So I know injuries aren't our fault, they're not, but we've put ourselves into this position where we have to win with the reserve defenders because we lost the first game. But, I mean, Lindelof is very, very capable. He's played for the last 3 years, so it's not Lindelof and Varane. That's not the end of the world. I think it's just the fullbacks, but I think we might be pleasantly surprised by them because I also think Dalot and Tellez are probably more suited to playing in Europe. And so is Lindelof. So the defence doesn't overly worry me. It does a bit, obviously, but basically the long short of it is, regardless of that, we have to be winning this football match because we've put the pressure on ourselves.
Yeah, Baines, I'll ask you kind of a similar question then. Obviously, I actually thought Lindelof was very good against Aston Villa, and I said this yesterday, that he came on into a very fast-paced game, and that's always hard to do as a player, especially as a centre-back, when the type of game that it was very end-to-end at times. So I thought he actually did quite well, and like Alex just said there, that's not a bad back four. You go back a year and a half, and that's better than the back four we had like 18 months ago. So 2 questions then. Obviously, Lindelof, we assume, is going to be the starting centre-back. Obviously, Karthik would probably tell us otherwise and say Phil Jones is going to be in there, but it's not going to be him. And also, it's a big night for Dalot, isn't it? Because with Wan-Bissaka suspended, obviously with Luke Shaw out as well. Obviously, we don't know how long that's going to be, and he could do a job at left-back. Can you see him getting a consistent run in this side after this? Should he play well Wednesday?
No, I can. I can. He actually he came on. He came on for Shaw, didn't he? And played left back when Shaw walked off injured. And I didn't think he was too bad. I gave him a little bit of slack because he is playing left back. He's obviously not, he's not left-footed predominantly, is he? So we got to give him a little bit of slack. And he did create a couple of chances. I think he whipped a ball in back post and no one was there. And at the end of the game, he tried to cross in as well. So look, Dallo is going to look at tomorrow. Tomorrow. He's going to look at Wednesday's game, and I'm hoping he looks at that and goes, right, this is my time now. Wan-Bissaka's out of the Champions League for is it a 1 game ban or 2 game ban?
Yeah, it's a 1 game.
1 game ban. So he's going to look at that and go, right, okay, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be against Villarreal, and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to play my own way. And he could create a few chances. You don't know. I mean, Ronaldo's in the box, so he might just freaking cross an inshallah to freaking Ronaldo, and it might just pop into the back of the net. I agree with. Sorry, I forgot who made the point about the back four that we should try and keep the. It was you, Connor, actually. That try and said that we should keep the goalkeeper and the back four the same. I agree, but also we know what kind of game we're going to get with Villarreal. They're 0-0 merchants. They are really resilient. They know how to defend. They drew 0-0 to Real Madrid, who are on fire at the moment. I think they're on top of the La Liga. They drew 2-2 to Atletico Madrid, and they've got, I think, it's 0-0s for the rest of the game, haven't they, or something like that. So we know what game we're going to get. I don't think Emery is going to go all the way to Old Trafford and go at United. So I don't think the back four is going to be too much of a worry. They are going to get a chance. Villarreal are going to do they're going to try a smash and grab. We all know that. Every team that comes up, Villa did that. They tried to get a smash and grab and they got it. So for me, I don't think we need to worry too much about the back four. As long as they do their job, is essentially keeping a clean sheet. You then have to rely on the front four or front five to go out and go and win you the game. The fullback should press on. Alex Telles will do that. Also, with Alex Telles, don't forget that he was out for like 3 months. He didn't have a pre-season, and when he came on, when he was started at West Ham, I mean, he got spun left, right, and centre. But you got to give him a little bit of slack. He might be just really rusty. Might be a bit of nerves kicking in. I'm hoping he's taken that away now and he can go out and be that left back that we initially bought. So, I don't think the top four, just quickly to touch on Lindelof, massively experienced. He knows what he gets with. We know what we get with him when he's defending. He knows how to defend. He's not a bad defender. Everyone labels him as, he's not physical and he's not great in the air. But at the same time, he's still been at the club for 4 or 5 years. He still knows how to win games. He still knows how to defend. He's got Varane next to him, who's, again, this messiah when it comes to defenders. Stu will disagree with me on that one. But look, we know what we get with Lindelof. He knows how to get results. He knows how to get clean sheets. So I don't think the back four's a problem. It's the front five for me. They need to be cohesive in their attack.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I want to ask you this, Henry. Obviously, you can mention the rest of the back four as well. But Fred Woodward's made a good point, and it's kind of been touched on already, how exciting, whether it's Ronaldo or Cavani, I think will benefit well from Telles and Dalot. We know the kind of deliveries they can put in the box. Maybe that is a way of us getting a goal early, and then Villarreal are going to have to come out at some point because we all know what Villarreal are going to do. Sit back. So maybe crosses into the box into Ronaldo, Cavani from the likes of Telles and Dalot are the way to get forward. So what are your kind of thoughts on the back four that's going to line up?
Well, again, yeah, I think it will be Dalot and Telles as the fullbacks, which is fine. But again, Ollie's been forced into a situation where it's now, let's see how big your bollocks are, pal, because we've got to go and attack these lot because you want to defend with Dalot and Telles. They'll get spun around in circles. So we can't be in a situation where we're relying on the defence. And it comes to the key point, which is we've got to attack them and we've got to be clinical. And if you're telling me Wan-Bissaka is a better crosser than Dalot, then I'm afraid he might need a little bit of psychiatric help. But Dalot is a specialist, basically a right wing back. He played right wing back for Milan a few times last season. I know he wasn't their first choice because, again, he's not as good defensively, but he's fantastic going forward. And Telles, I mean, he was Porto's set piece taker for like at least 2 years. So we've got a dead ball specialist and someone who whips a beautiful cross in. So we've got to utilize these things. And as you guys have mentioned before, Lindelof he's okay. He's like a banana.
He can do a job.
Yeah,
he can do a job.
You know, you're going to get some good energy from it. It's going to do the job for the day. It will give you the boost you need.
Fucking banana.
If you have too many of it, it tastes a bit like ass. So
that's the tweet. That's the tweet right there.
He's a fucking banana. I can't believe. I can't believe what I've said.
He's not
Brilliant.
He's not your Varane. He's not your Maguire. He's not fantastic and a specialist. And he's not something amazing like sticky toffee pudding or something. You go and you think, oh my god, that is just incredible. It's a very nice on the outside, but it will just gives you a right kick when when you least expect it. So you don't have that kind of thing with Lindelof. He's a very, very mild kind of streamlined player that will just always stay at the same level, which is fine. But he's not fantastic. And if we sit back, he'll get caught. Like I have no doubt about that. It's just a player he is. He switches off, and we're up against Danjuma, who, by the way, if you didn't see him at Bournemouth last year, was absolutely phenomenal, and he's got even better at Villarreal. Didn't even know that'd be possible for him. And Jeremy Pina, who plays on the right hand side, who is a little rat, if I'm honest. Like he is a rat. He will kick you. He'll probably spit on you. He'll tread on your heels. He's a horrible, nasty little right winger. But again, he's cute and he's a very technically gifted player as well. So it comes down to attacking them. That's it. Forget defending. You can stick Matic in there or whatever. I would personally put McTominay in there just because of the legs if we're going to be counter-attacked. And Matic has got wooden legs, man. That guy cannot run. I'm sorry. He's great at build-up play, whatever, but he cannot run. So, again, attack. Just attack. And then there can be no criticisms. If we go out and we attack the game and we lose 4-3 or draw 4-4, we've gone out and attacked and we've got caught.
No, I don't. Sorry, Henry, I don't agree with that because if we go out with the game, your whole point was correct, but just that last bit, the 4-3, Ollie's head. Well, that's it. I mean, he needs to go out and win.
Yeah, but
if he goes out and loses 4-3, but he plays attacking football, what difference does it make? We lost the game 4-3.
I'd rather I kind of missed a little bit, to be fair. I'd rather lose 4-3 than lose 1-0, like the Villa game. I'd rather lose 4-3 than lose 1-0.
No one's going to look back at that 2 years ago. Oh yeah, we lost 4-3, but we played attacking football. Like no one's going to look back at that and go, yeah, we lost. Two of the same things. We lost the game, whether it's 1-0 or 4-3.
Our defense isn't great for this game. We're 3 out of 4 players will be changed for our defense. Yeah. So it's going to have to be attacking. Like whether he likes it or not, it's going to have to be attacking. Because if he defends and we lose the game, his head is on the chopping board. Honestly, it's there.
Has anyone else just got visions in the head? Ronaldo versus Ireland, Dalot whipping it, and Tellers whipping balls into Ronaldo, leaping 2 foot in the air, 2 meters in the air for a header. Come on,
put him and Cavani up there. Two up front, sod it. Why not?
He's the best player in the air in the world.
Greenwood and Hugo and everyone in there. Sod it. Why not?
Sancho for me is the big key.
Just staying on the defence, obviously with Stu. Obviously, you're a defender yourself, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. So, just quickly now, obviously on the back four, we know what Dalot and Tellers are like. They're attacking fullbacks. So obviously we could say that Shaw and Wan-Bissaka play into that, but I think most of us would say Dalot and Tellers are more attacking than our first choice. Are you worried about that, or like Henry said there, we've got to go for Villarreal surely?
As it happens, I'd have actually played Dalot and Tellers on Wednesday anyway, even if Wan-Bissaka and Shaw are fit, because the best way to get at Villarreal is down the wings. And we don't play with conventional wingers, as we all know, but the best way is width. And that's one of the things we lacked severely on Saturday, I thought, was width. We didn't have enough width in the game. So width will be our key to winning this game, because they're pretty good in midfield. I think Coquelin's suspended, though, isn't he? Didn't he get sent off against Atalanta? No, not Coquelin.
Yeah.
No.
Capoue.
Yeah. He got
sent off against Atalanta, and I think he's been quite critical. Yeah, but I think he's been one of their better players this season, so that's a bit of a bonus to us. But I think we'll need width, and because of the width and crossing ability, although Dalot has a habit of not getting past the first man or the first post, and he doesn't actually get the elevation that's needed all the time in his crossing, he's still quite dangerous with it. And we know when Tellez is on his game, his accuracy is superb, and as Henry quite rightly said, he was Porto's set piece taker for 2 or 3 seasons. I think including penalties as well. So he knows what he's doing in terms of set piece. One thing I'd say about the back two is, and Bainesy, I know you give me grief about Varane, but I do rate him as a defender.
I know, but sometimes you have a little pop, and I'm like, no, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I love Varane.
But what I would say is he's having a bit of a baptism of fire in the Premier League. And he's been the first to admit it. He's come out and he said he's having to adapt to it. And the point, his game. Yeah, the point I was making at the very start when we signed him was that it's going to take a centre half a few games to get into it, because you've got a completely fresh partner, and he's played alongside Lindelof, and he's played alongside Maguire. Now there is a possibility he might team up with Bailly tomorrow night, isn't there? But I think it'll be Lindelof and Varane. I think his overall game has been really, really good. He's just, it's life, isn't it? Not everyone can go into an environment and thrive immediately. So, and I have picked him out on a couple of things. Yeah, absolutely. But ultimately, I think he's great for us. So that's actually, believe it or not, those are the fullbacks I would have played anyway. I would have played Tellez, and I would have played, because I think the wings, I don't know what you guys think. I know Ahmed's been watching the game, so be interested to see what Ahmed thinks. Yeah. But I think width is our key to it.
I'd agree with you, actually. And I'm just going to bring up this because I'm going to plug something here. So, Brown Knight, I know you love Fernandes as much as I do. He's talking about not Bruno Fernandes, Alvaro Fernandes in the under 23s. He needs
a haircut, Connor.
Anyone who watches the academy regularly, he is phenomenal. And I'm going to plug a show here. So me and Benny will have a new show. We've got no title for it yet. We don't know when it's going to be, but next Tuesday, we know when it's going to be. Next Tuesday, me and Benny will have a show on the academy and talking about the under 18s, the under 23s, and all other things United as well. So I just thought I'd shout that one out. I thought it was a perfect opportunity. Do you like that segue, Stu? It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love it. He needs a haircut. If he ever turns up with a ponytail, literally, I'm going to walk onto that pitch and cut it off. I don't. He needs a haircut. Sorry, Ahmed. Sorry.
So I'll come to you. Obviously, you're painful. I don't know how you're doing this. You're watching the game back. Obviously, Stu mentioned width there. We're going to get that with Dalot and Tellez, as we know. Is there anything you would want to add on the back four? Because I think we're all in agreement it's going to be that back four.
I mean, so what else is there for me to say that's not already been said? In a nutshell, because...
Can I throw a curveball at you then? There's been a few shouts in the comments for a back five or a back three, whichever way you want to look at it. Could that be an option?
Oh, no.
They play a 4-3-3.
Now,
so
what attacking football? What
when Manchester United played a back... When we played against Leipzig last year with a back three, how did that go? Please, people need to... I want the chat to remember this. When we tried a back five, what happened? We were beaten in the area that what really is the purpose of playing that formation. You leave the spaces out on the wings for them to attack behind by going forward. They'll happily play balls over your defense into the far side and score goals like Angelino and Mohamedou Haidara did. Those were clear as day examples of how not to play a back five in a key Champions League game. Manchester United should not play a back five tomorrow on Wednesday. If they do, then let's enjoy watching Dalot and Tellez charging up the field and then Danjuma, who loves breaking in behind the defense. Maybe Alcacer could do some of those dummy runs to confuse one of Bailly or Lindelof, free up the man who can run through the middle to give them the opportunity to score at will. We simply can't play a back five. We are not capable of doing that. And if we did, then I wouldn't have no complaints. But I don't see a reason why we should play a back five tomorrow on Wednesday night. On top of that, they already do that. They already play a back five. They have played all season, near enough all season, with that same setup. On Saturday night against Real Madrid, Yeremy Pino, Juan Foyth, Albiol, Torres, and Moreno was the back five. They managed collectively to deny Real Madrid any opportunities in the final third, as I mentioned already, other than two really decent opportunities from outside the box. Limited to that, Real Madrid. Limited to that. Yes, they're high flying in the league, but if you limit even Real Madrid to that, then that's a blueprint for how to stop Manchester United. So Ollie's got about 20 puzzles to solve as to how to break down Villarreal. I think for us, defensively, Lindelof played well against West Ham, so that's a placeholder for me because he got 90 minutes. He played all right. Yes, the result wasn't the correct one, but that for me is one thing I take into consideration. If he performs well, he's showing the manager at any point if one of the two gets injured, I'm happy to step in. And he'll step in on Wednesday night. Telles and Dalot. Telles, I think, as alluded, hasn't had a proper preseason and was injured for 3 months. That was unfortunate for him. So easing him back into full fitness would have been nice, but he's going to have to be thrown into the fire, unfortunately, against Villarreal. And there's not enough about Dalot that has already been said. For me, I think we'll be okay going forward. It is, yes, going to be a problem with for me, watching us defend and more or less crossing toes and fingers that we don't actually leak a goal or two. But historically, these games end 0-0 anyway, so what's the point?
Oh, Ahmed, that was depressing. Come on. It's going to end 0-0.
He's right. The thing is, though, he's right. He's on the money.
In the Champions League have all ended 0-0.
We've never beaten them.
I'd love to. I want to say it, but I just feel like, you know, the old historical vibe of playing a Spanish opposition that we tend to annoyingly have to carry. We've only beaten Granada convincingly in the last, God knows how many, 53 matches, I think it is, against Spanish opposition. And we've only won 15 of them, I think it is. I'm not sure. Something around that in European competition. So that, for me alone, is...
Real Sociedad. Sorry.
Yeah, Sociedad, we won the first...
4-0 and then 0-0.
Before that, I think it was... Before we won those 3 games... I think it was like some crazy, like, poor record against Spanish opposition. Historically, I just don't like playing Spanish teams because we always struggle against them, whoever plays in the United team. But I just get a vibe. This will be one of those typical into the history book 0-0s against Villarreal again. But, you know, I'm just trying to get rid of all the bad vibes now. So
I can see your point. And Alexi, Brown Knight says you haven't said a word. He must not have been listening because you've said quite a lot tonight. But there we are. I'm going to come to you next anyway. Because obviously, I know a few of you were in the ground as well at the weekend, but the Red Army started this chant, bring on Cavani. And next thing you see, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer calling him back down the touchline, and on comes Cavani. So I'm going to talk about him now. 2 players, obviously, that are coming into the team, and a lot of the fan base want to see, Cavani and Donny van der Beek. So I'm going to come to each of you quick, if you can keep it brief. Obviously, we're coming up to an hour now. Would you believe it? You've lasted an hour with me, and you're still here. And we're going to talk about Cavani and Donny van der Beek. Do either of those get a shot on Wednesday night? And should they even be starting, or should they get minutes? You know, what's your kind of thoughts on those two? I'll come to each of you on this one if you can just keep it brief as you can.
I don't see how we can play Cavani and Ronaldo in the same team, really, unless we're fighting for a goal at the end. But I just thought when he came on, I mean, it was funny, wasn't it? We were all singing "Bring on Cavani," and he brought him on straight away. I mean, that was fan power. Like I saw Roddy go, "Yeah, go on then." And I was like, "Good, thanks for that." But I mean, realistically, we should have brought on Sancho, as we were saying earlier. But I don't really see how Cavani and Ronaldo play in the same team. In a while ago, when we used to play 4-4-2 under Ferguson, you could probably do it because we had like great partnerships up front, like York and Cole. I mean, 99 we had York and Cole, Sheringham and Solskjaer. but it's just for some reason we can't really do that anymore, and I don't see how that would work because they occupy the same spaces on the left. Like you said, Ronaldo was drifting to the left, Cavani was on the left. There was this really weird point where Ronaldo and Cavani were on the left, and then Ronaldo kind of dropped back and Cavani just made the cross in. And obviously the idea is Cavani's meant to be in the box. I mean, so he's not going to play, I don't think. But Van der Beek, maybe, because he's more suited to European games. I think he's quite good at calming it down a bit. Just he does the simple things very well. Like he plays very simple passes, and that's what we might need. But if we're being honest, like it's that Cavani and Van der Beek aren't playing. I don't think it will be Ronaldo, it will be Bruno, and I think that's how it should be. To be honest.
Oh, Baines has not looked at the private chat, has he?
Yeah,
I haven't. Sorry, no. I'll jump in. That's fine. I was just in response to Alexi, but Donny van der Beek and Cavani. Yeah, I agree with Alexi. I don't think they'll play. If I'm being truthfully honest, I think we'll see a similar lineup apart from the back four to how we played in that final. Tellez, obviously, Delo coming in, Lindelof and Varane. I do see Scott McTominay and Pogba too. I think the key, I've said it, I've really briefly mentioned it earlier. Oh, you've put me off. I've lost my trail of thought.
Sorry, Basie, I could not ignore it.
I was going to say...
There is no way Connor can get away with it. You cannot prop Kartik material in these shows. For me, it's illegal. I should be arrestable by criminal law. No. Sorry, Basie.
No, it's fine. It's all good. I said that Sancho would be key. I think we need to play wingers as wingers. Pogba on left wing. Okay, look, he's got 7 assists, blah, blah, blah. But put him deep with McTominay. We're going to get the same game that we got in the final. So put him deep with McTominay. Play Sancho, Bruno. Who else we got as left winger? Martial.
I'd put Greenwood out there, Bainsley.
Oh, Greenwood. Sorry. Oh, my God. Yeah, Greenwood. I had a bit of a mind blank. So Greenwood and then obviously Ronaldo up top. That there should be enough. That 4 with Pogba sitting slightly deeper, surely we create a couple of chances there. And I know we played a very similar team in a system or whatever in the final, but we've got what we're missing. What we're not realizing is that we've got one of the greatest goal scorers we've ever seen in our time, and all we need to do is just fucking give it to him. Just fucking give it to him. Just create something for him. I'm surely out of Bruno, Sancho, Pogba, Greenwood, we can create 2 or 3 chances for Ronaldo and let him go bag a goal, right? He'll get you a goal. He might even get you 2. He might even get a hat-trick if it's his night. So we should have enough firepower to go out there. And I think Sancho is absolutely key to that. At Dortmund, he cared more about assists than goals. And that speaks for itself because we are screaming for someone to grab the ball, take initiative, and create something. And put him out on the right wing as well. Stop putting Greenwood there. If Greenwood wants to play, then chuck him on the left wing because I don't think Martial's going to play left wing. So chuck him on the left wing. He's still both-footed. It doesn't matter. Get Sancho out on that right wing and just whip balls into Ronaldo. Just go route one. Do a freaking Sam Allardyce. Just fuck it. Just give it to him and see what happens. I just want to win.
Yeah. This is, to be fair, this is tough because we really want to win this game. Obviously, everyone wants to win every game, but we can't go to strikers and vibes kind of situation where we've got like Cavani, Martial, Ronaldo, Greenwood. You can't do that. It's you'd be shooting yourself in the foot. I wouldn't even put Martial in the squad if I'm honest. The guy's got
Sorry, I forgot Lingard as well. I just saw it.
Yeah, Lingard.
Even Lingard could do a job left wing.
Sorry, I had to bring that comment up.
Yeah, I forgot about Lingard.
Lingard's great through the middle, and I think he struggles a little bit out wide because
he drifts in as well, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, West Ham got the best out of him when he was playing through the middle, when he had either Ben Rama or Bowen or whoever it was. They even pushed Fornals out wide to accommodate Lingard, which says kind of speaks volumes. And he does drift into Bruno's space, and then it comes a bit too cluttered. So yeah, I think again we can't go all vibes in this game. We've got to have some sort of cohesion. Martial's talented, very, very talented. I'm not going to deny that, but he's got the attitude of Joey Barton or Balotelli. Just absolutely reeks. So I wouldn't even. I just tell them to stay at home. I just don't even bother showing up because can't be bothered with you anymore. You just stand up front and do nothing. So and his supporters are clinging on to that Man City performance last year, where he was good, he was great, but he's done absolutely fuck all since, hasn't he? So that's nice. Yeah. So we're going to rely on him in a game like this? Nah. Yeah, so again, we've got to have a kind of a team cohesion, and I think Sancho is a smart idea. If he goes with McFred, I might sell my ticket an hour before the game. I don't think I could watch McFred again because that is just pure agony. Again, I'm hoping we'll see Van der Beek, but we won't. The vendetta. Don't know what's going on there. I have no idea what's going on there because he doesn't play, and he's bulked up and he's become this player. And he said he was working so hard, etc. over the summer break, and his agent's been out talking, and that doesn't kind of happen with him usually. So I don't know what's going on there, but he'd be perfect if you want to kind of keep things calm and slowly break a side down. He did it with Ajax pretty much every game. If you look at Ajax, they've got like 3 teams in their league that are good. The rest are just absolute dog shit. So all they do is sit on the edge of their 18-yard box and hope and pray they're not going to get 10 past them in a game. So again, we've got an abundance of choices. But I think it will be 4-2-3-1. I'm hoping Muck Pogba. I don't know whether I can even say that. Sounds wrong. I'm hoping we'll get that in midfield. And yeah, whatever it is, McPog or whatever you want to call it. But I'm hoping, and then Bruno out apologising. Stop apologising. Kick the ball in the fucking net. That might do us a few favours instead. So yeah, again, I'm excited, apprehensive, worried. Basically, I'm everything a United fan should be for Wednesday, which is same old.
It's going to be 0-0, isn't it?
We've had some crazy
comments.
I don't even know what to call it. Not even comments, just sayings. I mean, look what you've started now.
I'd play diamond. I'd be a bit more controversial.
Go on, Stu, take it seriously.
I'd play diamond. I'd put McTominay as a holder, and that's it. Period. I'd play Pogba and Van der Beek as 8s. I'd play Fernandes just in front, and I'd use Ronaldo and Greenwood up top. I'd play diamond. That way, it gives you all the space you need for your attacking fullbacks. The more you put 3 across the top, that's where your problems are. So that's what I would do. I play diamond. It's an easy way to beat them, and I think if he used Donny's brilliance in calming the play, in picking a pass, he can tackle, he can get a header in. It doesn't give Pogba that free role, but it gives him a more freer role than if he's playing out on the left. And of course, you've got the free role of Fernandes. And I think that'd be a much more dangerous side. And Villarreal wouldn't be expecting it. And I think we could get out there and penetrate them and beat them. And so that's what I would do. But I would probably start with, I take Baines' point about Sancho, actually, because I think he needs to play week in, week out to get, because I think he's just starting to do 1 or 2 things that everybody knows he can do. But I think on this occasion, the diamond formation, and I hate formations, as you well know, Connor, but diamond formation would be better, and it would give us the penetration out wide that we need. And then Greenwood at the minute and Ronaldo. And I think Greenwood needs to play up top with Ronaldo, and he needs to study Ronaldo a little bit while he's playing the game. And Ronaldo can talk to him and tell him where he needs to be. When Ronaldo, because he has a tendency to drift left, Greenwood stays right. Sometimes they're that far apart. Greenwood, he's not moving quick enough. So I think if you play him relatively closer together, I think you'll see a bit more potency up front. So that's what I would do.
I've got nothing, so you don't need to come to me, to be honest. I literally don't know who to pick because Ollie's just going to pick the same team from Saturday, brutally honest with you. Those that finished the game on Saturday, and the back five, it speaks for itself. And then Pogba, Matic, Pogba, McTominay. If he feels like it, Matic, maybe, I don't know, but McTominay. And then Greenwood, Fernandes, Sancho, don't play Pogba on the left, and then Ronaldo up front. So that's what I see happening. And yeah,
problem is, Ahmed, if you put two in this fucking so-called pivot, I hate that phrase.
It's bullshit. I know
it is. Yeah, but if you do, bullshit. You've got to take
Ollie's
Pogba out.
naive that way. And Ollie's naive that way. So
I know. But you have to almost take Pogba out the equation, then, don't you? Really?
Exactly.
You have to take.
I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
don't say that's true. I said that yesterday on the show.
No,
I
understand.
Goes in the two.
I understand what we're saying, Basic, but I think he's better as a more of a freer role, and I think he's hamstrung on a. I understand what you're saying, and I get it, and I agree with you. Yeah, he's hamstrung in a two, and you can't play a free role for Pogba and have a free role for Fernandes either. So if you give him an 8, it frees him up a little bit more. Van der Beek's a better, and I just think that's the better way of playing. But what do I know? I'm no coach, fellas. You know, I haven't even got level 1 at coaching. It wasn't what I was interested in. I was interested in playing.
So. Problem with Pogba is, and this is a big issue we're going to have not having a specialist defensive midfielder. Is you've got who do you pair him with? McSideways, the Labrador or whatever he is, the one that just chases the ball. And or wooden legs. You've got 3 choices, which are all pretty terrible choices. And everyone mentions France, who he plays with. Problem is, we haven't got a Kante, and we haven't got, or we haven't got a Basuma. We haven't got a busy player that's combative in midfield that you need to play alongside him. That's going to be our biggest weakness this year. Is that playing him out of position is dangerous territory with Pogba because he's track back.
I think when you do that, though, if you've got a Kante Basuma, just say we use McTominay. I don't want to use Matic because I don't think he's quick enough, and he's very one-dimensional, Matic, and we know we can't trust Fred. So just say we have McTominay in there. If you have McTominay here, then you have Pogba here and Van der Beek here. You're not necessarily partnering them, and that's what gives you your freedom in and around to play. But Henry, to come back to your point, you've got to have McTominay or whoever it is. Let's just say whoever it is at CDM be disciplined. Yeah. And the CDM's the one that goes from left to right, slightly forward, slightly back. Back in the day, there was a player, a Liverpool player, Jan Molby, made an absolute career out of 2 steps forward, 2 steps sideways, and 2 steps back. He was brilliant at it. Wasn't the most competitive midfielder, but he was great. He was very, very good at what he did. Now we don't have that. Now Conte, he doesn't venture too far forward all the time, but he's everywhere, isn't he? Across the width of the pitch, in our final third, and in the middle third. He's everywhere, and that's
2 players' jobs.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the player you need. So when you and you're right, Henry. When you watch Pogba play against France, he appears to have all that freedom because he's not necessarily on a bungee cord with the CDM. When he plays for us, and we've got whoever in there, he's got to be on a bungee cord, and that's the problem. And that's why you get the disconnect between Pogba, our central midfielder, whoever it may be, and Bruno, because Bruno has to play up on the final third. He won't come back the 20 yards that we need him occasionally to take the ball and move us. So that's why I feel if we could have that single player, if it is McTominay, you've got to give Pogba, and you've got to trust Van der Beek to cover when needed, but to really be the pivot. And I'm not talking a double pivot here. I'm talking a pivot for our play.
But Pogba's more combative for France as well. That's the problem. He's more combative for France. He gets stuck into tackles more because, again, he's got that freedom, and his pressing is actually really underrated. It's so underrated. He's so good at winning the ball back in the final third, and I think people forget that. So if you've got that base behind him that allows him, and Bruno's the same. They're so aggressive with their pressing If you've got that player, which we don't have, we've got a load of number 8s, and then you've got Matic, who is basically dying on the pitch. You can see him just on his last legs. You're thinking, please,
So I'm not
someone
laughing at you, I'm laughing at a comment.
inject him with some bloody, I don't know, like some steroids or something to get him going again.
Well, can I just say something, Henry? You actually make a really good point. And I'll tell you what it is. It's when you've got somebody like Kante who's willing to absolutely die for you. You're willing to die for him back. You're willing to. Yeah, it's a brilliant analogy of Jan Morby. That is absolutely brilliant analogy. But you're absolutely. You want to do it, don't you? You want to look across to him and think that guy is going to, he'll take on X, Y, and Z. I want to do it as well. So you're absolutely right. And I think if whoever we get into that, I think is our better system. And I hate systems, but it's our better way of, I'm going to use the word cohesiveness, which is you guys have been talking about all night. I think that would give us, and then it's always going to be Ronaldo. But when you've got a system like that, by the way, you can take Ronaldo out and you can slot Cavani straight in.
Yeah.
No problems.
Instantaneously, it'll just work.
If Fred was more press resistant and better at passing, we might actually have that player. But he's so shit sometimes, and it's actually painful to watch him on the ball. So again, if you combine the 3 players, we probably have it, but we just don't.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't. But that's a discussion for a transfer show or something like that. Just my quick thought. I can't remember the original question. I think it was something to do with Cavani and Donny. To be honest, I think we might see Cavani. I don't think we'll see Donny, and I actually disagree with that. And everyone knows my thoughts on Donny. I don't rate him as highly as everyone else does, but I would actually prefer to see Donny over Cavani in this game. I think Alexi said it earlier. Champions League games seem to suit him. And I think that you kind of need that calmness in midfield when we don't want to be rushing this. It's gonna be a frustrating evening. We're gonna need to take our time and break them down. And I think that's where Donny would play a crucial role. Ahmed, I'm going to come to you first in this question. And anyone else that wants to kind of come in before I wrap up the show, we need to talk briefly about what Villarreal offer. If anything, we know they're going to bring a double-decker bus with them and sit in front of the Stretford end. So. Right, so I'll come to you first, Ahmed, because I still don't know. You can't still be watching it, surely, but you've been watching the last...
It's done now, don't worry. The time we've been on. But when we started the show, I was probably like 75 minutes into the second half. So the shootouts happened and all that, so it's done now.
So do that to yourself.
I just want to be able to feel ready for Wednesday. Let me say, I want to be in the mood to feel like we'll smash them. That's the basic concept. I need to have an incentive to feel angry about them. I was angry long before even watching the match over again. But anyway, why do I not like Villarreal? Why do I want to punch Unai Emery in the face? Well, here's a simple concept of it all. They are happy to play 2 systems. This is a team that can play 5 at the back. They can play 4-3-3. They're flexible with the players. Anyone who's asked to play will be given a role. Emery insists that that's your role. You play that role. You give me 100%, and we'll see. And we'll go and get 3 points from it, or if anything, a defining result to our season. Yes, they're without Etienne Capoue because Francis Coquelin because of his red card in the first game. Then again, Manu Trigueros is a goal threat, scored in the first match against Atalanta. We've already touched on him this evening, but Arnaud Danjuma, who came from the Championship with Bournemouth, has got a house on fire. He started the season incredibly well. He's got 2 goals in 5 games, 6.9 rating overall on Who Scored apparently. But we're not talking about ratings. But yeah, just those 2 goals and the nature of how he gets him, breaking in behind defenses, has the pace. He's probably quicker than Lindelof. Not sure if he's faster than Varane, but we'll find out. He'll be a threat. Alcacer is known to be a goal poacher as well. A little bit like Cavani, will hover inside the 18-yard box, look for those back post or near post headers that if the ball comes across their very dangerous area between keeper and back foul. But as always, Emery prides on defence. It's very simple, really. And of course, as alluded to, they don't play for 3 points, they play for 1. But if they do take the lead, like Aston Villa did super late on, they will happily sit and bring that double-decker bus to be parked on the 18-yard, probably 6-yard line, and no way are we going to break through it. The point being, he's happy to play 5 at the back. They will die for Unai Emery, these players. Juan Foyth played for Spurs. He knows a bit about the Premier League, of course. He's a flexible fullback as well as a centre-half. Yerry Pino, who, as Henry says, a little rat, turns out to be one of the most decent players in the under-21 side for Spain, is a decent right wing back as well. And he played up, I think he played right wing in the final, but in some of the competition last season in the Europa League would be occupying a wing back position. So he's a happy, willing runner for his manager, goes up and down all day long like little hamster that he is. One of the other key men in this game is Dani Parejo. Parejo moved from Valencia to Villarreal. He is probably one of the best players in their team. He is basically David Silva, if you're thinking of the player to compare him to. Controls the ball, distributes it, scores goals. He is a classy man with possession and one dangerous customer. So give him time and possession. Let him have fun dictating the game. Man United cannot afford to give him time tomorrow. Obviously, one more thing. Gerard Moreno is not in the team. We're safe for tomorrow night in terms of him on Wednesday night with him being there. But outside of that, this team will come for a point. They'll park the bus. Expect that because Real Madrid struggled on Saturday. And if they can struggle, we may do as well. But I'm only doing this to get rid of my pessimism so I can feel like I'm overly hyped on Wednesday night. That's my reasoning. But I can't believe Real for you.
I can't believe Brown Knight's just left that comment. Have you seen Stu and Benny on a show before? Sorry, Stu. It feels like a bit of an uncut moment, that.
I have so much written down, boys. I'm trying not to use one because we're time for time. No, I could waffle all night.
No, we love you both. Henry, you wanted to quickly jump in on that one?
Yeah. I've written a few little bits down, but probably not as deep as Ahmed. But hey ho. I was thinking in terms of
hey ho, Parejo.
Yeah.
Wow. For God's sake. Get him off.
Connor, please.
Please,
Connor.
Right.
He's here all week. God.
Tickets to his shows are in the description, everybody.
Yeah, well, in terms of them defensively, we've spoken about how fantastic they are, and God.
That's abysmal. Sorry, Henry, but that was
no. I'm trying to talk, and I keep thinking of.
Oh, no. It's a
I can't wait for John Moreno to come back the Scout Spring and absolutely laugh his tits off because of the jokes we're making. And it's it's all
Moreno. Oh, fucking hell, Moreno. I forgot about him.
He's in that game. I forgot to tell you about that.
Fucking video in the final.
I'll tell you, Alexi, if you could reach out and strangle Connor now, I'd ask you to do that.
He'll do it for your Wednesday, Stu. Don't worry.
I'm never saying that again. Ben Karthik, if you're watching, don't sack me. Right, Henry, sorry, you were saying Villarreal, take it away.
Trying to keep my composure. It's cool. I might not even look at you, Connor, because you're a disgrace. I'm going to put my hand over that part.
Yeah, that's really good off.
Oh, thank fuck for
that. Oh, dear.
Oh, God.
Oh, I can't believe you
might put a bit of paper over your face on this.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I hope Ben's cancelling your check for that.
Right, come on, Henry, come on.
Right.
Yes, come on, Henry. Yeah.
Sorry, try and keep a straight face. No one smile. So, for fuck's sake. You bastards.
You think about frogs, Henry. Think about things that won't make you smile.
Stu starts and then they all fucking start laughing.
Oh my God.
Oh no!
Please like and
I'm
subscribe,
gonna have to try and regain. I'm gonna have to kick myself out of the show, aren't I?
Composure, lads. Composure. Come on, we're all grown adults here, all right? Honestly.
I don't know. We're safe, boys.
It's not like you just know that Connor went through their team earlier and said, "Oh, I can make a pun out of that one." He's been waiting all night to get it in, hasn't he?
Do you know what it wasn't? It was straight off. It was straight off the spot. That was.
Oh God! Connor, the stand-up comedian.
I can't believe
honestly,
I'm
sorry, Henry.
Sorry,
it's Alexis' fault. Alexis making me laugh.
I disciplined Alexi about this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
No, that's not better. What are you doing, mate?
Just mute all of us and
that's
you
a
talk.
violation. Oh, brilliant. Connor's the one that starts to run off and I'm the one that gets fucking shot.
Oh God! I'm crying, man.
Honestly, what have I surprised you?
Oh, Jarvis, you don't know what you've missed.
Oh, we got.
Come on, lads. Let's
Wait, hold on.
No,
Henry,
man,
go. Henry, you just need to talk, mate. Just
Let's
mute
make
mute
it-
it.
let's go.
If you can, Henry, take it away. I'm going to regain composure now because I'm supposed to be running this
I'm
show.
going to mute. I'm going to mute. I
Yeah,
am.
just everyone just look away. Henry, make your point. You're making a point
right, I'm
about
going
Villarreal.
to look at the wall while I'm making a point. So Villarreal, when they counter attack, that's when we've got to use the space that they vacate. That's me done. I'm not even going to fucking try anymore. I'm not even going to try. Stu, you can mute yourself, man. I can see you pissing yourself. Alexi's he's just done. He's done. He's had it.
Ahmed is dead.
He's had it. He's done. Call it off. Call it off.
You guys still laughing? Come on.
Point made. Point
Lads,
made.
I don't know what we can do here, honestly.
No, look, I'm not going to look at the screen because every time I look, I can see Alexi laughing and Ahmed's like dead.
It's Alexi. It's Alexi's
Yeah.
fault.
And then I can hear someone giggling, and I'm pretty sure that's
Alexi,
Stu.
this is a professional broadcast.
Connor, you should know better. We sat outside Old Trafford singing Viva Chris Wilder for half an hour. You should know that he laughs like this for so long by now. This is a common principle.
You know when Ben, if you're watching this, if you're putting the schedule together for next week, I'd still like my show with Benny. Next Tuesday, I'd like to keep that. Neil, come on.
Boss,
It's not been that bad, has it?
Sorry, boss.
Right. I actually want to hear Henry's point on Villarreal. Alexi, if you can't compose yourself, I'm just going to...
That'll do.
I'll mute myself.
Oh god.
I can see you all. So if anyone starts laughing, I'm going to kick you out while Henry makes his point. Go for it.
Okay, right. Here we go. Basically, I think that the fuck me, man. We're gonna end up with no one in this. I'm trying to make a point, man. What can I... Right. Oh, fuck me, man. Oh god. Right. Yeah. Best way to hit them is when they counter. We'll counter them. Oh, not again. No, I can't. No. Right. This is. Yeah. I've been done here, guys. For anyone watching right now, I've been absolutely done. Right. We're good. Composed.
I'm just gonna have to end this show in a minute,
Yeah.
aren't I? We're not gonna get to this point.
Point made. Counter the counter attack. That's it. Easy way to get through.
Invite them on. You're basically saying invite them onto us?
Yeah.
How we pretty much did Real Sociedad. They came at us and we hit
Invite
them
them
3
on.
times on the break. Yeah.
Invite them on. Parejo is ridiculously slow, by the way. He's a fantastic player, but he is so slow. Alberto Moreno, probably one of the worst defensive fullbacks on the planet. So if he starts, again, target. Juan Foyth, again, lack of pace. So can be done easily. Knock it around him. Getting behind, we've got clinical finishers. Happy days. I think it's a pretty simple way that we chose not to do in the final. We just decided not to play like that. So
No, I actually agree with you. And I managed to listen to that point with that laugh.
I agree.
Despite Alexi down the bottom there, absolutely losing it. But no, I do agree with what you're saying. Actually, you do make a point. Don't they play Raul Albiol at centre half as well?
Yeah.
Is that-
I think this is why they sit deep in most of their games, by the way.
They're all slow.
No
Everyone
pace.
just remember, their defenders are all slow. The majority of them are old. And most importantly, if they prove up, let's say, if they go over near the halfway line, then we can just do route 1 over the top and just tell Ronaldo.
We don't have that ball though. Because we
don't,
relied
but-
on Rashford to make that run. Do we have a Rashford? Maybe Sancho.
Hypothetical
But-
thinking, Baines. Just being hypothetical. I'm wishing it to happen. Okay, it's all
yeah.
I have, lad. It's all I have.
But again, it's a team of we're playing a team of 11 rats. Like in all honesty, and I'm being
Horrible,
polite.
but
They are.
yeah.
Raul
Horrible.
Albiol is a class A twat. I can't stand him because he 2-foots people and gets away with it. Again, we're playing against a side that are typical Unai Emery, combative, aggressive, just outright arseholes.
They're
really.
a team of I'm assuming you admire Villarreal then, because that's the kind of defender that you say that you'd like. Little elbows in the back and
you guys are actually everything you've said is right. They are that type. They're full of shit houses, and that sometimes. Although it's not attractive to watch, it's good football because there's more than one way to skin a cat, as we all know. So there's more than one way to win a game of football, more than one way to stop Ronaldo, etc. But actually, what I take from them as well is they win possession really, really well. They're very, very good at winning possession. They've got players that will, like you said, they'll scratch, they'll fight. They'll do the dirty side of the game, which is my favourite side of the game. There's no posers in there to get on with it. They take the pitch, the whistle goes, they get on with it, and then it's see where it takes them. So, yeah, I tend to agree with everything you've all said.
If you bypass one or two players with quick passes...
Which is why I think we can get...
They're in trouble.
Well, I think we can get them around the wings, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or wide. Yeah, that's why I think
it has to be quick. None of this slow tempo bullshit that we see. I'm tired of it. We're not good at it, so don't do it. Simple as that. Just play quick attacking football.
I genuinely believe that we will hurt like Real Sociedad, like many teams. We've scored so many goals on the counter. If we invite them onto us, you're right, Henry. We just counter the counter. Essentially. Yeah, counter the counter.
Yeah, I agree.
You're bang on, actually.
Just copy and paste Real Sociedad last season and
move it over.
Just no tentativeness as well. Don't be concerned about what's gonna. I see people backing out challenges. Don't worry about what's going to hurt you. They'll get bookings. They will get. They're going to get at least. I'm going to say at least 4. I would say because they'll just go around kicking people. We've got 75,000 people there who are going to be on the ref's back. The ref will. The UEFA refs shot themselves whenever they.
Mind you, they're German tomorrow, so just be careful, boys. On Wednesday, sorry, they're German refs. So
what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
They do.
They don't take any shit.
Last time we played Spanish opposition with a German ref was Sevilla 2020, and we were kind of screwed. So,
but every ref can be pressured. Every ref can be pressured.
Especially by the fans. Especially by fans.
Yeah, they'll understand. They won't want to be called a knob and a twat in the middle of the game. So they'll understand. But
I don't know if I agree with that. I've got to be honest. Certainly not English fans. I don't know whether anyone who's been to obviously us three were at the game on Saturday. English refs don't get pressured easy. The amount of time wasting that's going on in
Dean did not.
I've seen at Old Trafford in the last few games.
He did not give a shit. He just sort of blew his wrist and went, "Come on, off you go."
But this is against the side that we just lost to.
Yeah. Can I just say one more thing, guys? I think if we play our own game, we don't worry about them.
Yeah.
We should beat them if we play our own game. That's what I would say.
Go on, Alexi. You want to make a quick point, and I'm going to come to score predictions and then wrap all this up.
Here we go. You're going to wrap it up because I can't cope anymore.
Jesus Christ.
I completely agree. We can't overthink it, but also it's going to be one of those games. It's going to be like playing like Burnley in the Premier League. If you get an early goal, you'll probably be all right. Yeah. But the more the game goes on, the more anxieties will come on. And if they get the first goal, we're in trouble. But if we get the first goal, they'll come out more. And it could end up being one of those games we do somehow end up winning 3 or maybe 4-1. But yeah, it's just important we start well, because if we don't, it's just going to be long and they're going to be fouling a lot and there's not going to be a lot of flow to the game like Villa the other day, very stop-starty. But yeah, we've just got to start well, which we don't usually do. And if we do, I think we will win, but it's not going to be fun, to be honest. But
right, I'm hoping for a more positive end to that, and we're going to do this because it's a serious broadcast. Henry, let's go for it. Score prediction and first goal scorer.
I'm going to go with 4-1, and just based on the amount of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer pulls stuff out of the bag when we're under serious pressure. I think we all kind of forget that in games when he's been touted to be sacked, we've gone and won big. But more so, Villarreal, there is a blueprint to beat them. There is. And it's staring us in the face so obviously. We played them once already, and we know how not to play against them. So the only other way is to allow them out and get in behind. And I think with teams like that, if you can give them a false sense of security in a game, you've got them. Got them by the balls. Simple as that. And I think we'll do it. I think the first goal scorer will be... God, that's a difficult one. Oh, fuck it.
I don't think it is.
Varane header from a corner.
Okay.
Go on, Stu.
I think it'll just be a 1-0 win. And I think Ronaldo will show his class and score 1-0.
Sounds it.
2-0 Ronaldo, first goal scorer. It's obvious. I mean, that stat earlier, 13 goals in 15 appearances, 5 assists. Oh, what a record. Yeah, I mean, what a record that is.
Yeah.
If he's and he loves games like this. He loves games like this. He'll get a goal. The first goal scorer, 2-0 for me.
Alexi?
In spite of what I said about it being hard, I think we'll win 5-0 and Ronaldo's going to score the first goal.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've got this weird sense, right? They're going to get an early red card. It's going to be like that Southampton game we won 9-0 and we're just going to pile it on. We're going to 5-0 them and it's going to be great.
I would love to say 4 or 5. And I'm not one on history, as you guys know. We hardly scored. We've drawn 0-0 with them 4 times in the Champions League.
Watch it.
Yeah,
being
4
0-0.
times in the Champions League in
4,
05,
isn't it?
06, 09.
Stu,
You could be right, Alex. I hope you are, mate. I hope you are.
So Ahmed, for your prediction, then you're going to say 6-0.
You know that split feeling with your head and your heart? This is me right now. My head says 0-0. My heart says 2-0. I'm going with my heart. Obviously, I'm going with my heart because Man United, isn't it? It's what we're here for. I can see how it can be 0-0, but I can see how it can be 2-0. One, United need a clean sheet, and it's absolutely critical we get one because the last 3 games we've not been able to get a clean sheet, and I think getting one will boost the morale of the team and also, more importantly, help us, going forward against Everton because Rafa Benitez loves scoring goals. So if we get a clean sheet on Saturday, it's something on Wednesday. It will get something for us to, start with on Saturday. Goal scorer for me, it just has Mason Greenwood's blueprints all over it, really. So I see him smashing one in early on. So yeah, Greenwood to score first. United win 2-0.
Nice one. And Ahmed, you've made some fans today. You've been called the. I can't remember what the comment was earlier. There it is. Yeah, the Optibot for United. you know all, and Manchester United manager as well.
Life as a professional commentator gets to this point where you now have to write little details on every single thing you watch and every single team. Like watching League 2 football stresses me out. It's just more the same watching Man United play on a Saturday afternoon, boys and girls. So if I was ever to become Man United manager, I think you see considerably more grey hairs on my head than there are already.
If you're ever to become Man United manager, Stu needs to be your assistant head coach. There you go.
I may have to consider that approval, to be honest.
There you go. It's on camera. So
sorry, what was that, guys? I was emailing someone. Sorry, what was that?
No going back.
If I became Man United manager, Stu, I'd hire you as my number 2.
Absolutely, I'm rightly so.
So I'll go through some of these.
Where's
And
the
Brown
loyalty,
not saying.
Ahmed?
Alexi, I love you, pal, but you're director of football. We talked about this. We had a long-winded waffle about this way back in April when Woodward was sacked. Connor knows he was there. He was part of the party that night. I appoint you as director of football. Stu is number 2.
No tactics, just Stu going poser.
Poser.
Yeah.
You're a poser. He gets off, Ahmed.
Get your fucking haircut, mate.
Get on with it.
Yeah, get your haircut, mate. Black boots for you, pal.
You got a ponytail and cutting it off.
The thing is, I can't override his decisions. So some of these decisions, he'll say every player must wear black boots. They must all be Adidas World Cups, and they must all sign contracts insisting that they wear long, short sleeves and shorts with no gloves, no socks that go over the knee. You have to live the hard way, as I do as a player. Sign here, or else you're fired. Is basically
in a Mercedes.
This is getting scarily close to actually happening. I'm gonna wrap this show up with my final prediction because I'm never gonna end this show. I could do this all night. There's a couple of shots here. 3-1 to Ugly Bear. What are you doing? Come on, you've got to predict a United win at least. Fred Wood, obviously we've all said that. It's got 0-0 written all over it. I'm gonna say I can't see us keeping a clean sheet with a heavily rotated back 4, so I'm gonna say 3-1. Cristiano first goal scorer. It's just got to be, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you're still watching, why? I don't know why you've stuck around to the end of this, but we have made it to the end, albeit quite. It's been one. This has been one of the funniest shows I've been involved in for a long time. So I've loved this show. Make sure you're following all these guys. Not Alexi. He's got too many followers anyway. You don't follow him. Make sure you follow him.
Still follow him. It boosts his ego and helps our podcast.
We love all these guys. Make sure you're following all these guys. I don't know who's hosting, but we'll obviously be back with a match reaction on Wednesday. The preview for Everton will be back Thursday. And obviously the timeline talk will be back on Friday. Match reaction Saturday to Everton and Uncut on Sunday. Plenty of content coming across all for United. So make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel. And yeah, from all of us, hopefully none of us laugh before the end of the show. We shall see you in the next one.